Hello children, how are you doing today? How is the COVID session taking you? Let me think you're keeping yourselves safe and protecting your loved ones. Here we are to continue from where our teachers stopped. We are in a topic of lines, angles, and geometric figures. And under lines, angles, and geometric figures, today we are going to look at finding rotations and angles. I've said we are looking at finding rotations and angles. Somebody will ask me, teacher, I don't know what an angle means. An angle is a figure formed by two rays starting from a common point. I've said an angle is a figure formed by two rays starting from a common point. An angle is a figure formed by two angles starting from a common point. Then, a rotation is the act of turning at a fixed point. A rotation is the act of turning at a fixed point. To those who have clock faces at homes, look at the hands of a clock face. They are fixed at a point, but they keep rotating. They keep moving around. They keep turning. So, as these hands move, they make different fractions. We can observe different fractions formed by the hands as they rotate. At times, they can form a quarter, a turn. Wherever you see your clock hand forming just a quarter, a turn, when they talk of a quarter, that's when a shape is divided into 4 equal parts. 90 degrees will be formed. So a quarter turn is equal to 90 degrees. Then a half a turn, that's when your clock face will be divided into 2 equal parts. A half a turn is equal to 180 degrees. Then 3/4 a turn is equal to 270 degrees. Then we shall look at a complete turn. A complete turn is also known as a revolution. A complete turn is known as a revolution. When do the hands of a clock make a complete turn? We know when the hands of a clock are moving, they start from 12. So the time when they will be both pointing into 12, they will have made a complete turn. If that's when you've considered the two hands. But if you are to consider that one hand, maybe the minute hand, when it moves from 12 and then time comes when it is exactly in 12, still it has made a complete turn. Therefore, that movement shows 360 degrees. Then, if it has made like an eighth a turn, those are 45 degrees. From there, we shall look at the examples that have been given to us. Example number 1 is saying, tell the fraction and angle showed below. Tell the fraction and angle showed below. When you look at the first clock face, the hands have moved just a quarter. How do we determine a quarter? Get a pencil and you extend the line up to the last figures where the lines are facing. You will see that 4 parts have been made, and out of the 4 parts, our arrow on the rays is showing just one part of those 4 parts, meaning the fraction formed is a quarter. And remember, a quarter a turn is equal to 90 degrees. Then we come to the second clock face, where the hands have divided the clock face into 2 equal parts. Therefore, the fraction made according to the arrow, it is showing that it's covering just one part of the 2 parts, meaning the fraction formed is a half, whereby a half a turn is equal to 180 degrees. Then we come to the second example. The second example is saying how many degrees are in a third a turn. How many degrees are in a third a turn? Remember, a complete turn is equal to 360 degrees. Then we come and say a third a turn will be equal to, get that fraction given to you times the 360 degrees, which make a complete revolution. So we have a third times 360 degrees. Don't divide from that step. Write the exact work down and say a third times 360 degrees. When you look at the denominator, which is 3 and 360 degrees, they have a common divisor. Which common divisor is 3? So we're going to divide 3, the denominator, by 3, and we get 1. Then 360 divided by 3 will give us 120. Therefore, the degrees formed by a third turn are 120 degrees. Lastly, what turn is made in an angle of 90 degrees? What turn is made in an angle of 90 degrees? Remember, children, 360 degrees are equal to 1 revolution. When I talk about revolution, I mean a complete turn. Now they are showing us that the 90 degrees are not a complete turn. Therefore, get the 90 degrees divided by the 360 degrees so that you can find a fraction. Being that the numerator has degrees and the denominator has degrees, we shall first of all cross out the degrees. Then, when you look at 90 and 360, they are both divisible by 10. Therefore, cross out the 0, meaning we've divided by 10. After that, we are remaining with 9 divided by 36, whereby those two numbers have a common divisor. Which common divisor is 9? First, divide 9 by 9. 9 divided by 9 gives me 1. And then 36 divided by 9 gives me 4. Therefore, the fraction made by 90 degrees is a quarter. The fraction made by 90 degrees is a quarter. After seeing all those examples, children, can you try and do for me this activity whereby number 1 is saying, how many degrees are there in 3/4 turn? B, 2/3 turn. C, 2/9 turn. Then number 2, find the turn represented by, when they talk about turn, remember I said it's a fraction. Find the turn represented by 270 degrees, 360 degrees, and lastly 180 degrees. Then we go to number 3. Number 3 is saying, write the fraction and angle showed below. As you determine the fraction and angle, you're going to look at the arrow drawn inside the clock face. Only the arrow move according to the movement of the arrow. After doing the activity, please remember to bring the books. When do we bring the books at school? After making like 6 pieces. Use the best handwriting. Keep at home. Stay safe. COVID is real. COVID kills.